The father of my child was unable to accept me, so I was in depression also.
Another cause of CP is maybe accidents, such as falls. Sometimes a mother can get an accident.
I decided to take him because we don't give because we have. I wanted people to know that God can do.
The current reign, there's never been a conclusive study that has been done, but figures are put at around 300 to 300,000.
Cerebral palsy, CP in Kenya, as in many parts of the world, remains a significant yet often overlooked condition. This neurological disorder affects movement, muscle tone, and posture, typically resulting from brain damage before, during, or shortly after birth. In Kenya, CP presents major challenges due to limited awareness, stigma, and inadequate access to specialized medical care and therapy. While the exact prevalence is unclear, studies suggest that cases are rising, often linked to childbirth complications, infections, and insufficient prenatal and postnatal care. Children with CP struggle to access essential rehabilitation services like physiotherapy, occupational therapy, and speech therapy. We visited the Cerebral Palsy Society of Kenya, CPSK, an organization dedicated to raising awareness, supporting individuals with CP, and advocating against stigma. While their efforts are making substantial differences in our society, it is clear much work remains to be done.
My name is Rachel Mui. I'm a parent of a child with cerebral palsy, 15 years old, and is a student here in CPSK. I got pregnant when I was a very little girl, and I was in denial. I was not able to agree that I'm pregnant. The father of my child was unable to accept me, so I was in depression also. When the time came for giving birth, I had a prolonged labor, so that is where my cerebral palsy kid get CP.
My name is Elfas Kiplagat. I am an occupational therapist at Cerebral Palsy Society of Kenya. Cerebral palsy is a group of neurological conditions that affects muscle tone, posture, muscle coordination, and balance.
Cerebral palsy is a significant neurological condition in Kenya, affecting an estimated 1 in 100 children, higher than the global average. However, precise prevalence data remains limited.
Cerebral palsy is a common condition in our country, but many people are not aware about it.
The current reign, there's never been a conclusive study that has been done, but figures are put at around 300 to 300,000, of course minus or plus. Mostly the children are, in the far-flung areas where mothers cannot easily be able to access hospital.
Mama Musa, another mother with a CP child, shares her story.
My name is Livina Tenodeva. I'm a guardian to baby Moses Baraka, who is suffering from CP. Moses is a child who was born a normal child, and he was thrown. He was taken to children's home when he was 3 days old. Later on, I came to find out that he was a child who was born normal, but due to when he developed meningitis, that is where he ended up being a CP child.
Let us explore some of the causes of cerebral palsy.
It is caused by brain damage, which occurs before birth. There are those mothers that use drugs when pregnant. Another risk factor is poor diet when the mother is pregnant. Another cause of CP is maybe accidents, such as falls. Sometimes a mother can get an accident and can cause trauma to the child. Another risk factor which is common, most of the parents tend to give birth at home instead of going to the hospital. So it is good for mothers to plan to go to the hospital so that they can deliver there. There is what we call prolonged labor. If a mother has a prolonged labor, it can cause CP. And if a mother gives birth to a baby and the baby ajalia during delivery, so that can cause CP. And when the child is at home, they may not be able to get what is needed for this child to be supported so that he can breathe, maybe oxygen and other things.
They said the CP occurred because of the prolonged labor and the depression I had. It was almost 3 days with labor. It was a normal delivery, although the child cried, but he was born with club foot. The legs was crossing each other.
Cerebral palsy is not immediately obvious at birth, especially if the symptoms are mild. However, some newborns may show early signs, while others are diagnosed months or even years later as developmental delays become more noticeable.
Actually, CP, it depends with the severity. Sometimes the mother cannot notice or the doctors cannot notice that this child has CP. Most of the time it is noticed during development because it interferes with the normal development of the child. For example, when the child has reached to a stage where he or she should be holding the head, but the child cannot hold the head. That is when the mother can realize that this child has a problem. Or maybe the time has come that this child should be sitting, but the child cannot sit. We call them developmental milestone. That is when the mother can realize or can notice that the child has a problem. There are things we call reflexes that we normally test when the children are born. There are reflexes which sometimes when they are tested, they are absent. So when those reflexes are absent, it means that this child maybe has a problem.
Adopting a child with CP can be challenging for many due to the extra care, medical costs, and lifelong support involved. However, Mama Musa did something rare and chose to adopt Musa.
I used to go to children's home to wash clothes, do the hair for them. You have to give back to the society. I'm good in plating, I'm good in decoration, so I used to go there. Then one day when I went there, I found the owner of the children's home was not there. I wanted to know where he was, and that is where I found out that he has a child, Mama Lucy, who was suffering from CP. When I came back to children's home, that was some months later, I found out that Moses was back from hospital. That is why I decided to take him. Because we don't give because we have. I wanted people to know that God can do. What God can do, no man can do.
Rachel, tucked away in a remote village where CP was barely understood, spent years raising her son, unaware that his struggles had a name. To her, this condition was a mystery, one she navigated with great difficulty without answers.
It affected me a lot, like financially. My lifestyle changed because I was to go to college. I was not able to go to college. I was to go to hustle for myself. I was unable to hustle for myself because I was taking care of the child, whereby I did not accept that he had a condition. I was taking care of him like a normal child because we were at Ushago. So we did not have information about CP.
Cerebral palsy affects movement and posture, and it can lead to a wide range of complications, which can significantly vary between individuals.
There are various complications that affect these children. One of them is mobility. These children cannot move. They cannot move from one place to another, so most of the time they depend on their caregivers or maybe assistive devices like wheelchairs to move. Another complication is feeding. Most of these kids develop what we call dysphagia. They have a problem with swallowing, and when they have a problem with swallowing, then they cannot swallow the food as normal people could. And with that, it can even lead to malnutrition, which is another complication. It can lead to what we call a pneumonia, aspiration pneumonia, which is caused when food particles goes to a wrong route. Instead of going to where it should go, maybe it goes to the airways. So it can cause such complication and many other complications that are caused.
Coming up after the break.
So can it be caused by diseases?
Yes.
You don't give because you have. Them, they were looking at the burden, Moses said. But me, I was seeing the God that I serve, the owner of silver and gold.
I was in a fear that I may give birth to a disability one again, but it's not that as we think.
Cerebral palsy is a lifelong condition, but as we've seen, it doesn't define the individuals living with it. With the right support, medical care and awareness, those with CP can lead meaningful lives and fulfilling lives. After the break, we'll explore more about the daily realities, the challenges and the triumphs of living with CP. Stay with us. And now for a short healthcare tip. Consistent physical activity and stretching can help manage muscle stiffness and improve mobility in individuals with cerebral palsy. Regularly engaging in physiotherapy, gentle exercises and stretching routines can reduce spasticity, enhance flexibility and prevent joint contractures. Activities like swimming and assisted walking can also improve coordination and overall well-being. Always consult with a healthcare professional to tailor exercises to individual needs.
We are living in a lost and broken world, constantly bombarded by messages of hate and atrocities. But with God, we can overcome. Find hope and restoration on the go through life-changing shows on the Family Media app.
And then you will lose yourself and gain the world. And Jesus said, what good is it?
Get to stream Family TV and Family Radio 316 straight from your phone. Catch up on a show you missed or create video streaming playlists by saving and watching videos from our huge variety of shows at your own convenience. Download the Family Media app, available for all Android and iOS users on the Google Play Store and Apple Store respectively. Family Media, keeping Jesus on the airwaves.
Welcome back. Cerebral palsy is a condition that affects movement and muscle control, but beyond the medical terms, it's a story of strength, adaptation and resilience. In this next segment, we'll speak to the professionals one-on-one and continue to hear first-hand experiences from those living with CP, explore the challenges they face, and learn about the support systems that can help them thrive. So, I know in our society, a lot of mothers tend to keep their children at home because maybe they're just scared of even stigma and all that. What would you say to such mothers?
Okay. What I could say to such mothers is that they need to come out. They need to come out and speak to professionals whom they can help them overcome their stigma. Because the more they keep their children in the houses, the more the children suffer. These children need to be helped, and these children are important people in the society as well. Yeah, so that is the message to the mothers. Let them bring the children out. By bringing the children out, they will get solution on how to help these children. Yeah.
Can it be caused because, like, one of the mothers we've spoken to,
Yes,
says that the child got CP from meningitis?
yes, yes.
So can it be caused by diseases?
Yes, yes, yes. CP can be caused by diseases such as meningitis, can cause CP. We also have what we call jaundice, can also cause CP. And most of the time, there are those two conditions that are commonly known to cause CP. Yeah.
And what happens if a mother decides if a mother does not seek care
Yes.
and just leaves the child like that, what will happen?
To the child.
Yes.
So if this child cannot get help, the muscles will be more stiff and stiff and stiff, and it will cause what we call muscle rigidity, to an extent that this child, it will be difficult for a mother even to maybe to wash him or her, to do grooming for the child, because the child is stiff. So it will be difficult for that child to be taken care of. And at the same time, there are many things that these mothers can learn from the hospital. Apart from therapy, they can learn on how to feed these kids, on how to position them. So by doing so, they'll help these kids. So if these kids are not brought here, they will suffer. They will suffer. They will suffer because, another thing is that, human beings are social beings, and we also need to socialize. So if children come out, they learn to socialize as well, and they learn to stay with people. They become happy. So these children will be affected physically, emotionally, and spiritually. But if they come out, the whole treatment they will get from the therapy. Yes.
Next, we speak to Abbott. You mentioned that they could be stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3.
Yeah, we usually say mild, mid, and severe.
So what does mild look like?
Mild basically are people or children who can be able to move a bit on their own, but they can also be able to support themselves if they are given proper therapy and early intervention. They can still be integrated in schools. They can take conventional education. And yes, they can be able to rely on their own, be able to, for example, assist themselves to the washrooms, assist themselves with feeding, etc. Yes.
And stage 2?
Mid, mostly you would find that people who are probably on the wheelchairs, their motor is completely affected. So they are on wheelchairs, but not all of them are severe, in the sense that even at mid-level, there are children who can still be able to go to school. They can still be able to achieve certain things with assistance. With the right intervention, like I said in the case of earlier, they can still be able then to be integrated into the education system, learn, and still be able to achieve certain things. Although within the same bracket, there are those who may not be able to get conventional education, but then they can be able to be taught certain skills. For example, we have a program here where we teach children with cerebral palsy drawing. We teach them beadwork, things of the sort that then they are able to do, and a bit of some artwork that they've been able to undertake. Severe children are completely affected. They are completely dependent on their caregivers. They are completely dependent on their parents. And so there's nothing much that can be done except that therapy still helps, because when they get therapy, then they live longer.
Stigma surrounding CP remains a significant challenge for individuals living with the condition, affecting their quality of life, social interactions, and mental well-being. It is often rooted in misconceptions, lack of awareness, and societal attitudes towards disability.
You see, I'm a single mother, and you see, I was looking for a person to marry me, but wherever I tell him that I have a CP child, napotea hivyo. Yes, so it's not an easy journey.
Some people have ended up rejecting me. My family, some of them have even rejected me because of Moses. They told me, why are you taking Musa? You're supposed to take Musa back to children's home because your husband is now dead and you don't have a stable job. And I remembered John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. You don't give because you have. Them, they were looking at the burden, Moses said. But me, I was seeing the God that I serve, the owner of silver and gold.
Mostly in the villages, it's worse. Some time ago, I was in Bungoma County and Busia County, and we visited several counties. Mostly people tend to think that cerebral palsy is a curse. So you'd find that parents are stigmatized, children are stigmatized. Gets to a point where families hide children. In turn, children are not receiving the much required intervention at an early age.
CP is a lifelong condition with no cure, but its symptoms can be managed to improve mobility and ensure a better quality of life. Early intervention is crucial.
CP cannot be treated, but it can be managed. How? What we do, we help this child to develop. We do what we call development facilitation. We help them develop, and we also train them on doing the activities of daily living. It is very crucial to start therapy very early. We call them early intervention. When we realize that a child has CP earlier and we begin managing the child immediately, the results will be good compared to when we start managing the child maybe when he or she has grown old.
CP cannot always be prevented, but certain measures can reduce the risk of developing the condition.
What mothers can do is they can feed well, they eat balanced diet, they avoid using drugs during pregnancy. And the most important one is that they should attend clinics as early as possible during pregnancy. In fact, what we normally advise is that parents, both mother and father, should attend clinics when they are planning to have a kid, so that they can be given what to do, how to feed, and many other things to do. So they should attend clinics very early. And then number 3, they should always make sure they deliver their kids in the hospital, not at home.
Being a mother to a child with cerebral palsy comes with many challenges. However, accepting the condition plays a crucial role in helping mothers navigate these challenges more effectively.
When I knew, I started accepting the condition and taking him to occupational therapy, taking him to school, to special school. So at that time, when I realized he had a CP, I just started interacting with the other mothers and be educated about the CP, about the disability. Yes.
Because Moses is the work of the Lord, God cannot reject me. So I decided whether they reject me, whether they help me or not, the work of the Lord has to continue. When it's come to food, sometimes it's difficult for me. As I've told you, my husband was the one who was helping me. And when I took Moses, before I took Moses, I had a salon. Unfortunately, the salon was stolen, and I've not been able to get it back. So most of the time, with the case of Moses, you can't leave him with anybody. And it's only my husband who used to understand him. So most of the time, I'm the one who takes care of him. Sometimes when I get a job, I do mobile work. I have to carry him, and now he's very heavy. So sometimes I have just to refuse to go to work because of Moses. And I believe that one day God will give me my own job.
Given the financial struggles that many mothers of children with cerebral palsy face, what support is the Kenyan government currently providing, and what additional measures could be taken to assist them further?
The government has done quite a lot for CP work in Kenya. Can you tell me about that?
The government basically has made sure that every level 4 hospital provides therapy for the children. That means that in every county, at least a child is assured of receiving therapy. The areas that probably much needs to be done is on things that enable the child to live a dignified life, like diapers and all that. And even so, the government has also done well with diapers. Today, children who are receiving therapy at Kise get free diapers. anybody with a disability card but with a special child who needs diaper can visit Kise, where they also get free diapers. But that needs to be cascaded down to the county hospitals, so that then as they receive services at the county hospitals, then they can also receive things like diapers. But the major problem again is usually food. Taking care of a CP child is a 24/7, 365 job. You'd find that most caregivers are unable to go to work. With that, then they need to be skilled, they need to be retooled, they need to be given assistance, especially with food rations or something like that. For me, that is the only place where the government probably needs to do something about, you know.
In Kenya, many mothers hide their children with cerebral palsy, fearing judgment not only from society, but also from their own friends and family. As mothers who have faced and conquered these fears, Rachel and Mama Musa share their heartfelt words of encouragement and hope.
What I can tell mothers is just to take care of these children and accept them. They are children like any other child. Because I have a child and he's no more child, I was in a fear that I may give birth to a disability one again, but it's not that as we think. So we take care of them, we take them to therapy, we take them to school.
They are just normal children like any other children. They need love, they need to be taken care of, and they're not supposed to. I see most of the time, these kind of kids, you see their parents, they hide them in their houses, which is not good. Maybe that rejected stone can be the one that can bring you out.
Cerebral palsy is not just a diagnosis, it's a journey of resilience, adaptation, and strength. While challenges exist, so do opportunities for inclusion, support, and empowerment. By breaking down stigma, improving accessibility, and fostering understanding, we can create a world where individuals with CP are fully included and celebrated for their abilities. Let us continue to raise awareness and advocate for a society that embraces everyone, regardless of their differences. Thank you for joining us on this episode. Until next time, stay informed, stay compassionate, and keep the conversation going.